So bacteria causes a lot of diseases, and we'll be talking about some of these diseases in our previous videos. So today we're talking about two other diseases caused by bacteria: tuberculosis and whooping cough. Let's go together. My name is Daniel, and I'll be teaching you in today's video. So tuberculosis is very common in developing countries of Asia, Africa, and South America. Now, it is one of the commonest causes of illnesses and death in those regions. So it is very prevalent in those regions, in developing countries of Asia, Africa, and South America. Now, the causative organism or the microorganism that causes tuberculosis is bacillus. It's a tuberculobacillus, and the specific species is Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Mycobacterium tuberculosis. And since we said it's a bacillus bacteria, that means it is rod shaped. It is shaped like a rod, and it is non-motile, which means it cannot move. It doesn't move from one place to another, and it is highly resistant to adverse conditions. It can remain alive indoors for a very long time. So that is one of the reasons this bacteria is very dangerous. It can stay in adverse conditions for a very long time and survive, and it doesn't move. It doesn't have any organism or organelle for movement. So it's a non-motile bacteria. Now, the mode of transmission of this disease, how does this disease move into humans or animals? So the mode of transmission is by droplet infection. So what we mean by droplet infection is infection through coughing, spitting, or sneezing. So if a person that is infected with bacteria coughs, a person that is healthy can be infected by that cough or sneeze, or even the spit of an infected person. Also, it can be spread by handling objects of an infected person, or objects that have been contaminated by an infected person, the spread of tuberculosis. Now let's go to the symptoms of tuberculosis. Now, we have various types of tuberculosis, but the most common type, which is the pulmonary tuberculosis, usually starts with a dry cough, followed by the spitting of blood-stained sputum. So the person starts with a dry cough, someone infected by tuberculosis, followed by spitting of blood. Then as the disease progresses, lesions are formed on the chest of a person, and those lesions can be detected by x-rays. So when you x-ray the chest of the person, you notice lesions that are formed. And other symptoms that we notice include chest pains, persistent coughing. So we've said it starts with a dry cough, but if the cough continues, that's a symptom of tuberculosis. Then loss of weight and appetite. So when the person begins to lose appetite, the person obviously begins to lose weight also. And all of this can eventually lead to the death if not treated promptly. Now let's talk about the control and the prevention of tuberculosis. So we can prevent or control tuberculosis by vaccination. That's BCG vaccination. And that means Bacillus calmette-guerin vaccination. Bacillus calmette-guerin vaccination. And it's specifically mostly for children. So we can prevent tuberculosis by giving BCG vaccination to children. Also, we ensure that we have well-ventilated and spacious dwellings. Where we stay is well-ventilated. And we also ensure that we prevent overcrowding. So these are the ways this disease can easily spread. If the space is well-ventilated, if someone spits or coughs, it will not easily spread. But if it is choked up, we have 10, 15 people in a very small room, the disease can easily spread from one person to another. So we make sure we have well-ventilated and spacious dwellings that are not overcrowded. So that can help to prevent tuberculosis. Also, we need to have annual medical examinations and chest x-ray. So that can help in detecting this tuberculosis early. So if it is detected early, we can prevent it from spreading to other people. So when we have annual or yearly medical examinations, which include chest x-ray, when we x-ray the chest, we can detect if there are any lesions on the chest. and the treatment of the tuberculosis can start promptly and prevent other people from contracting the disease. Also, we have to isolate and hospitalize infected persons to prevent them from spreading the disease to other people. Let's move on to the other disease that we have for today, which is whooping cough. Whooping cough. Now, this whooping cough is also known as pertussis, and it's a bacterial infection that gets into the nose and the throat of the infected person. So it gets in through the nose or through the throat. Now let's talk about the causative organism of whooping cough. Now it is caused by a bacteria called Bordella pertussis. So that hence the name pertussis. So it is caused by a bacteria called Bordella pertussis, and the way it enters into the body, the mode of transmission, is that when an infected person coughs or sneezes, there are some tiny germs that go in from the infected person into the air. They are spread into the air. These droplets are spread into the air, and a healthy person breathes them into their lungs, and they become infected by this disease. So this is also kind of similar to tuberculosis. It is caused by droplet infection. When a person that is infected sneezes or coughs, a healthy person inhales these droplets or breathes in these droplets from the air and is infected by whooping cough. So what are the symptoms of whooping cough? Now, when someone is infected by whooping cough, it takes about 7 to 10 days for signs and symptoms to begin to appear. But sometimes it could take longer than that. Now, the symptoms of whooping cough are usually mild at first, and it could just resemble the symptoms of a common cold. When a person has a cold, the person has a runny nose normally, then nasal congestion. Then we could also have some more severe symptoms. We could have red eyes that are also watery. Then the person will have fever, and of course also a cough. So generally symptoms of a common cold, then mixed with some other more complicated symptoms. So after a week or two, the symptoms of this whooping cough worsen. So the symptoms are no longer mild, they worsen. Then thick mucus accumulates inside the airways of a person that is infected and can cause uncontrollable coughing. Because this it prevents the airways from air from passing through the airways. Then severe symptoms could also lead to severe infection could also lead to vomiting. It could result in a red or blue face. It could cause extreme fatigue. Then the cough of the person that is infected will have a high pitch, or we call it a whoop, W-H-O-O-P, a whoop sound. So that's where the name whooping cough comes from, during the next breath of air. So when the person is breathing, there will be kind of a whoop sound, a high-pitched whoop sound when the person is breathing. So those are symptoms of whooping cough. Now, this disease spreads easily, but the way it can be prevented by vaccines like DTaP or TDAP. DTaP is diphtheria, tetanus, and pertussis vaccine. And we have TDAP as tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis vaccine. So these vaccines can help prevent it in children and adults. So that's prevention. So what about treatment and control? We have antibiotics that help to cut down on coughing and other symptoms. So antibiotics can be used in treating whooping cough. Then also, an infected person should get lots of rest. So if the person rests well, it can give the body more strength to fight the illness. Also, an infected person should eat small meals. If the person eats small meals, this helps to prevent vomiting. And also, a person that is infected by whooping cough should try to eat small meals as often as possible. Because if the person eats less, more often, it helps to prevent vomiting that is caused by the coughing spells. You know, the person could cough so hard and the person starts vomiting. That's one of the symptoms of whooping cough that we mentioned. So eating smaller meals can, or lesser meals can help to prevent the vomiting. Also, the air around the person we should ensure that it is clean. Ensure the person is breathing in clean air that is free of dust, smoke, and other irritants. Also, the person should stay hydrated. The person should drink lots of water and lots of juice, so to prevent dehydration. Now, and also the person should just stay hydrated to prevent dehydration, because the coughing and the cold can lead to dehydration. The vomiting also can lead to dehydration. So the person should take lots of fluids. So with that, we've come to the end of today's video on diseases caused by microorganisms, specifically diseases caused by bacteria. In our next videos, we'll be talking about some other diseases caused by other microorganisms. And in our next video specifically, we'll be talking about 2 other diseases caused by bacteria. See you in our next video.